Welcome to Oak Mountain Media. My name is Chase Collins, and today I get to interview the best meatloaf cook and volleyball coach at Oak Mountain, and the head volleyball coach, Coach Odell and Coach Burgess. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us
So
today.
I'm gonna take it back first, and like when y'all were kids, what first got you interested in like sports and coaching and all that?
Well, for me, I started playing t-ball when I was 4. So that was my first love was softball. And then I played volleyball starting in 7th grade, and really truly fell in love with it when I was a junior in high school. And then I went on to play there, but just sports in general. I love the competitive aspect of it. I love the team part of it. Like, I love having to work as a team and to accomplish a goal. So that's what's really kept me into sports and doing what I do.
She's really good at it, too. Likewise, I started sports when I was 4. For me, it was soccer. And I played multiple sports, and I had lots and lots of coaches. And that kind of built a foundation of what I want to be like and some what I don't want to be like. And when I first got into teaching, it's kind of expected that you choose something. And I said, I'll just choose coaching. And I was young then, but then I realized that first year that coaching gives you an avenue outside of the classroom to really love on kids and mentor kids in a whole different way. And here at Oak Mountain, it's with volleyball, and it's such a dynamically fun sport. And so it marries two things that I get to be with kids and encourage them, and then also be around a super fun sport.
Yeah. Was there like one moment, you said you just kind of chose coaching. Was there one moment while you were coaching where you were like, this is really cool, like I want to keep doing this? Or for you, Miss Burgess, when you thought, man, I really do want to be a coach?
I think that moment for me came about 3 years ago, and I was working, like Coach Odell said, you just get to work with kids in a completely different way other than academics.
Right.
And there was a really special moment in my life where I was working with one of my athletes, and it was kind of in that time in my life where I was like, okay, this is the time when I have to decide, do I want to be a head coach, or do I want to stop coaching and focus on just my teaching? And that was the moment for me that solidified that I wanted to be a head coach, and I wanted to start looking for that job.
I think for me, it was one of my early jobs. I was coaching basketball, and maybe 3 or 4 years later, a girl wrote me, like literally wrote a handwritten letter, and she was going into med school, and she was saying, I really want to be a doctor, but more so I kind of want to be a coach to make the influence on others that you made on me. And that was like, oh, because you get in the grind of especially where we are in the season, where it's just, it can get tough, especially with volleyball because it's such a sprint. But it's those moments that we connect with the kids, and we're like, okay, this is our whole reason for coaching, and it makes it also worth it.
Yeah, and handwritten letters is cool because nobody writes anymore. All the kids in their phones.
I know.
All right, this season in volleyball, and like how compared to last season, is it easier or is it more challenging? And then last season with COVID and all, that was a big challenge. So what could you say about that?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, I think that it is different a lot because of COVID. We had so many restrictions. But I think that the biggest thing for us this year is that we got to go to team camps for the first time since I've been at Oak Mountain. And all teams, the freshman team, the JV team, and the varsity team, they got to experience learning together and growing together in different environments with different coaching voices, with different philosophies and different gyms. It was just days upon days upon days, and then hours upon hours upon hours that they got to only spend together.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that we really missed out on last year. So that's the biggest advantage that I see for this year.
I'll go even further. Last year, Coach Burgess was just coming into Oak Mountain, and so Coach Burgess is excellent in her coaching in that she really wants it to be very relational. And so she develops relationships with the girls. And last year, because she came in the way it happened, she wasn't able to do that. But this year, as soon as off season started, it was like, hey, Odell, we're having a meeting. And she meant it. Like, we sat there and really got to know each of the girls and made it just purposeful, intentional off season to get to know the girls. So at this point, now that we're teaching them, I mean, we're learning and playing, but more so now we know it makes them tick. And now we know that this is going on and this is going on. So we really got to develop relationships that we weren't able to do. And we have a head coach with us that we didn't necessarily have, going into last year as well.
Like that. And this season, y'all went on like a 5-game win streak a few weeks back, and that's like really good. And ever since then, it's kind of been a lull just a little bit. Do you remember what it was like on that win streak and how you could possibly recreate that?
Yeah, I think our whole season has been awesome. So sometimes we win and sometimes we lose, but we really focus on, are we learning? Are we getting better? Did we grow? Did those things happen? Sometimes those things don't happen for us when we win.
Mm-hmm.
But they happen for us almost 100% of the time when we lose. So I know that I might sound crazy when I say this, but I'm grateful for the losses. I'm grateful for those, for the moments of the lulls and the whatevers, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
But our kids they're in it, and they haven't gone anywhere. They're still focused, and they work hard every single day. I do think that this tournament coming up this weekend is going to give them some chances to get some confidence back in the win column. So I think it's coming. I think stars just have to align, and we have to execute at a high level for that to happen with the strength of our schedule. There's not a game that we can take off. We're playing really, really good competition. So I think that that's the biggest thing.
Same, and I'll just accentuate exactly what she just said. What to us really matters is the area tournament that's at the end. So as long as with every game, whether it's a win or a loss, there's learning going on. There's, hey, how can we get better tomorrow than we were today? Then it's a success. So winning is great, but winning in the end is what really matters.
Yeah, and like loss is kind of underrated. If you don't lose, you don't really know what it's like, and when you win, it's not as good. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So y'all got a few more weeks left in the season. What's the plan to get that done, get that ended strong?
Well, I think we have found our identity, is what I like to call it. I think the kids know what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are as a team. I think the game plan going forward and moving into postseason is really starting to execute in the areas where we know are our strengths, and continuing to work and grind through our weaknesses.
Yeah.
I think the higher level of execution we have in our strengths is where it's really gonna take a toll in postseason.
Absolutely. And I think at this point in the season, Coach Burgess has done an excellent job of letting the girls coach themselves. Like, she doesn't have to have her hands in everything, which is a great aspect, that she can just sit back and watch and kind of let them know exactly, because they already know their strengths and weaknesses, but to execute. And when they're not executing, can they talk amongst themselves during timeouts and kind of figure that out? And that takes a lot of work on her part, and it's just starting to see the fruits of it. And I think that's really going to help in these last few weeks push, is that they are able to coach themselves in such a way. They're disciplined girls. They're a fabulous group of girls. We haven't even mentioned that. I mean, we probably are the most fortunate coaches because they love each other, and they're just fiercely hard workers, and they're excellent in the classroom, and they just have wonderful hearts. So that helps in all aspects.
Yeah,
that makes our jobs pretty easy.
Yes.
So what would you say the big thing that you love most about the team? Like, when you think of your team, what comes to mind?
Just one. I'm like,
It can be as many as you want.
There's just so much about this group specifically. I think they hold themselves to really high standards. and that's on a daily basis. So,
Mhm.
it's not rocky. It's not one day you're going to get this team, and Wednesday you're going to get this team, and Friday you may not know who the team is that shows up. They are pretty um, they're pretty consistent in their work ethic, in their behaviors, in their attitudes, and all of that. So that makes our job pretty easy as well, having that consistency. But I think the biggest difference, we have a really good group of leaders this year. Um, they lead like in their actions, in their words, behind closed doors, when everybody's watching. They have really learned how to hold their teammates accountable for their best effort while providing their own best effort.
Yeah.
So our leadership has greatly grown amongst the kids. So that's one of the things that I love talking about, is because I think that's really hard to get with a high school sport. I think that that's really challenging, and I think that they've done a really good job of that this year.
Yeah.
I agree. I come at it from a different perspective in the sense that this year is truly unique because truly all of the girls on that varsity roster I've known since they were 7th grade or younger. I've watched them grow up with my own daughter, play or do camps or just have play dates at my house. And so I have a level of comfort with them outside of school and outside of coaching, and I kind of love them all dearly. And that's something that when you say we only have 3 weeks left, it kind of makes me weepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to let them go because they're all kind of mine. And I'm the mama. I think of myself as the mama, and Coach Burgess is equally so. But I just love them, and sometimes they come in and they've had a hard day, or they've been up since 2 a.m. studying, and they just need a hug, or they just need a little bit of encouragement, and they'll let you do that. And because we've developed those relationships, they just know that they're supported in all different ways. So that's what I love about them.
Well, great. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for coming.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank
Chase,
you
for
so
having us. We
much.
appreciate it.
Check out their volleyball Instagram page. It is OMHS Volleyball. Check out our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Oak MTN Media. And my name is Chase Collins. Thank you for watching.